Board for your service to our community. My name is James Libby of Burrillville, Rhode Island. I've been a registered architect licensed in Rhode Island for 20 years. I am accredited by the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Professionals, and I'm a National Council of Architecture Registration Board member and a member of the American Institute of Architects. My projects have won numerous awards, including for brownfield redevelopment of contaminated sites. I participated in the early planning stages of UConn's $1.5 billion capital improvement plan, and am currently a project manager of a $140 million project under construction. I also served on the planning board for 9 years. I'd like to submit to you 2 pages that were read for the Rhode Island Siting Board. I'd also like to submit to you 10 pages of documentation as to why this project does not comply with the comprehensive plan. With the time given tonight, I would like to focus on a topic that hasn't really been discussed much, and that's the topic of economic development. Many of the projects we've done in the past together show how important it is for our projects to fit into the community in discussing their environment, their economic impact. A new CVS in Pasco, one medical center in Pasco, conversion of the Pasco Grammar School to apartments. In the case of this project, economic development, income equality, and environmental issues are closely linked. And in Invenergy's response regarding environmental and economic justice, they pointed out that there are no minority income or minority populations within 10 miles of Pasco. However, they neglected to mention that there are low income communities, and Pasco being one of them. This is important because the U.S. Clean Air Act includes environmental justice conditions that ensure U.S. citizens enjoy improved air quality, including those in minority and low-income population. So while this project promotes clean air for New England as a region, it creates an emissions hot zone in our community and puts the Pasco residents in particular at risk. These economic disinvestment zones are most commonly found in low-income communities, and despite the incredible efforts we've done to revitalize Pasco, it remains a low-income community and therefore is defined and afforded these protections. Power plants can often target low-income communities because they offer financial incentives to entice low-income populations to construct power plants in exchange for payments. However, this community should not be forced to sacrifice their lives or their health for perceived economic gains. And if you look at some of the state's planning documentation, they highlight the low-income population, and they specifically highlighted Pasco in particular. Proponents of fossil fuel electricity promote it as a less costly option to renewable energy. However, the cheap costs of burning these fuels are paid for by sacrificing the health of our citizens. Carbon dioxide can be exhausted and captured into and piped underground, but it's less costly to pump it into the air for communities to breathe. Drilling wells on company property is costly, but money can be saved by pumping contaminated water across our town aquifers, leaving our low-income families and children to pay the price for any contamination.